Hey, this is Pastor Kobe, and this is your Tuesday Spiritual Taco. Do you still have no faith? Well, in Mark 39, Mark chapter 4, 39 through 40, it says this, and he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith? I want to point out that Jesus exhibits what we should do in times of storm and trouble. He has great self-discipline. He shows us this by believing in the word that his Father told him to do, because when God speaks, it manifests. He says, we're going to get in this boat, we're going to get to the other side. And when God says you're going to get there, you are going to get there. All we have to do is hold on to the promises of God, rest our hope in that, and be disciplined in that. That does not mean motivated by the promise. That means disciplined by the sovereignty of God and faith in God. Motivation only runs off of inspiration, which means once you're no longer inspired, you're not moving in the same direction. Discipline keeps you focused, not because it's comfortable, not because it's easy, not because it looks like it's going to happen, but because you have faith in God's sovereignty. So Jesus then moves forward, and it's interesting how he does it, because he speaks peace first. And the word for peace that he uses is an imperative, which means word he said told the sea to be calm and to be quiet. Some theologians said that the sea wanted to talk back, but couldn't, because what God says goes. It is what it is. And the same God who spoke in the form of Jesus said, we're going to get to the other side. It's the same God who spoke to the sea and said, peace, stop talking. You can't rage anymore. And then he goes, be still, just for giggles, I guess, because he's just God. And sometimes he has to show us by speaking in a way that we understand. Now, here's the thing. He goes back after that, looks at his disciples. They were still cowering, I believe. And he goes, why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith? Which makes me believe that even though the storm stopped, they were still freaking out about the storm, even though he had spoke to it and said that it was going to stop, and it stopped, and it was going to be still, and it was still. And so the thing is, in our lives, we have storms that come in the midst, in between, or in betwixt what God has called us to be. We must rely on the things that God has said to us. Sometimes our testimony is the best thing. What has God done in your life? Spoken that you thought would never happen, and it happened. And you see that God has spoken something else that doesn't seem like it's going to happen in your life. I guess the question is, do you still have no faith? Are you moving in that despite what's going on, despite the storm, despite the opposition? Because what Jesus did was, when the opposition met his sovereignty overrules it, which means that what God called you to do, whatever is stepping against it, God's word, his promise to you, if you are faithful, will overthrow the storm. It will be calm. Even if it want to buck against you, it cannot, because God's sovereignty is unmatched. This is Pastor Kobe. This is your Tuesday Taco, and I pray you ate well.